After an hour or more of thrashing and some light calling, Trish and I were beginning to get a little bit disappointed that we're in a moosey area, but again, no moose. We worked our way out to a river bar, and sure as heck, a cow caught us flat-footed out in the open on a river bar without cover, and a long staring contest pursued before the cow looked away, and Trish and I were able to kneel down on the river bar and get the video camera in place to start taking some pictures. Shortly after we saw her, we heard a lengthy whistling sound from back behind her, and she turned around and looked back into the brush. At that point, both Trish and I were sure that there was another moose with her, and I made sure that I had the Weatherby ready to go, thinking that, well, there's going to be a nice bull walking out. This cow took her time, though, and another moose didn't show itself for some time. So we continued to video as the cow worked her way up to about 40 yards from us before she waded into the river. And I suspect going into the river is a safety move, that she probably knows she can cross the river far faster than a grizzly or a wolf can. But she worked her way again up to about 40 yards, looked us over, gave us some very good video. And then she came back on our side of the bank and went into the trees, and that was the last of we saw of her. But gun ready, we sat waiting on the river bar for the other moose to show itself, which it would do shortly after she left. As we had guessed, within minutes, a bull appeared in the same location that the cow had came out of the woods. And unfortunately, it wasn't a shooter bull. It was a small bull. This bull, though, hadn't seen us move, and even though we were now kneeling in the open on the river bar, simply by being still, it had no idea that we were there there recording its walking. And like a magnet, it began to follow the same path that the cow had taken, but in a much quicker fashion than the cow. And within a matter of a minute or two, it had closed the distance to 40 or 50 yards, and then continued to even come closer. At this point, the bull was maybe 30 yards from us, and still didn't realize that we were even there, and kind of looked like it was going to walk off into the woods for a minute, but then kind of zigzagged back to his left and continued to come, and at a given point you could see that he was looking at us, and he could see us, but again had no fear, because he hadn't seen us move. The bull now was down to maybe 22 yards, maybe even a little bit below 20 yards, when I finally stood up on my knees, as I didn't think it was good to let him walk up to within a few yards of us, because it's still a bull. When I did raise up to my knees, he obviously saw it and put the brakes on, but again at this point he was maybe 20 yards, if not under, and you could almost hear him breathe. But he didn't stick around for very long. But at the same time, his curiosity was piqued at this point, and he trotted back to maybe 30 yards, which would have been an incredible shot with a bow and arrow and turning broadside. But the big little boy just was very curious, much like the cow was on us, and continued to hang around and walked into the woods for a little bit before he returned and crossed the river. But the shots here in the woods are some of my favorite because they're just very good, pleasing shots of a beautiful bull. Trish and I had traveled 3,800 miles to see moose, so we were very happy to sit and watch this bull as we were the cow, and he gave us a very good show. He obviously shows some differences over the cow and acts like he's kind of the king of the forest, and we enjoyed every minute of it. He waded through the 3.5 to 4 foot deep river as if it was nothing, and went up on the other side and walked into the trees, and then, like the cow's curiosity, continued to watch us from the other side of the river and the trees as Trish and I finally stood up and prepared to continue our hunt. Here we are, chilling on our river bar. This morning we were out hunting and saw that bull moose and a cow, and we had planned on spending the whole day on this river bar regardless of if we saw a moose, but we did, so we were right, it was a moosey looking area. You're kind of a silver-tongued devil sitting over there, aren't you?
I'm eating.
The color person adding behind the scenes commentary to the it really engrosses you to the whole Alaska experience.
I'm eating.
She hasn't quit eating from the time the plane dropped us on the gravel bar. She's been eating like, yeah. Just say at this rate, she won't be wearing them wool pants next year.
Shut up.
Okay. So I took my cue and did shut up. And in the evening, we went out and did some more thrashing, a little bit of calling, but we didn't see the two moose we had seen earlier in the day, nor did we see any other moose. So the next morning, we had hopes of setting off in the raft for some early floating and hopefully running into big brown.